She's 50, she's fabulous, and this podcast is all about her.
I mean, as it should be. And this is Chick to Chick.
Happy birthday to my favorite chick. Happy birthday. Okay, so how does it feel to be 50 and so fabulous?
Oh my gosh, what a cliche statement. Well, clearly I feel like a princess, hence the reason why I'm wearing this tiara. But I don't know, I don't feel any different. 50 is just a number, but it's not lost on me that it is a big number.
It is a big number, and I think we go through so many changes as women. And, I was joking that this podcast is all about her. And
what do you mean you were joking?
Well, yeah. What? Right? It's always about you.
I guess I'll take my princess tiara off now.
Take it off. This is really about a coming of age podcast and how we as women should celebrate at every age.
Agree,
right?
yes.
And every age, I think there's like a metamorphosis that goes on, and we change and we evolve and we mature. And as you said, we are redefining who we are, what we want, how we look. I mean, no offense, but when I was little, 50-year-old women did not look like that. Wow. They just didn't.
I think it's the hair.
I think it's everything. I mean, I think it's great that we are just taking ownership and you're just, doing what we want to do, and you look great and you're fit. And I mean, I would never know that you were 50, but you look fabulous.
Thank you, my chick. You're so sweet. Listen, I am also going to tell you that I have great genetics. I mean, I really do. I mean, I have parents that not only don't act their age, but they don't really look their age either. And so I feel like a part of that is genetics. I do take care of myself.
Yes, you do.
I really do. Try to stay, up on things that are going on. I do like trends and makeup and clothing and hair. And I don't look at that as, ooh, is this age appropriate all the time? Right. I look at it as, how do I feel in this? How do I feel about what I look like? I try very hard not to be dictated by what society tells me I should think and feel and do. I also align myself with really amazing women like you. Women who are doing and thinking and enjoying life, because the last thing I want to do is get in the doldrums of, oh, now you're 50. You're over the hill. I am not over the hill. I still go down.
You're still climbing
I'm
up
climbing
the hill.
And then I'm skiing down the hill. So there is no over the hill.
Well, I think we all are just redefining what we want in life. And as you said, it's just a number. 50 is just a number. Who said you can't do this because you're 50 or you can't do that because you're 50? You can do whatever you want to do. And you said so many things that are so important. I mean, you take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
You eat right. You get exercise. You wear whatever you want to wear. And if you look at something and say, you know what, who said this is age appropriate? If it looks good on you, then wear it.
Parts and pieces aren't falling out. Why not?
Well, yeah.
So let's go back to the decades. We should chunk it out as decades because, listen, the 20s is all about fun. Some people are in college, some are just joining a workforce, but that's where you're sort of, teething in a way in life. You've become an adult and you're really learning and you're really growing. And the 20s are where you can make a lot of mistakes and have a lot of fun. And luckily for us, we don't have phones that prove all the mistakes and the fun we had.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
We didn't have social media.
Right.
We didn't have phones. We didn't have any of those things. I think turning 20 is the very first pivotal moment. And I think that's the first defining moment. And you come out of college and you're going to conquer the world.
Oh, yeah.
I can think back to my 20s and, I was defiant. I thought I knew everything.
We all did.
Right. But this is just what happens. And you think you know what you want. When you're 20. And I say this to 20-year-olds, and I said it about myself, and I mean this as a term of endearment. Are you acting 20 stupid? I say that all the time.
This a lot, yes.
My son acts 20 stupid. I act 20 stupid. And I don't mean that in any way, shape, or form as derogatory. It's just at that point, you're coming out of college and you're going to conquer the world and you're going to do all these things and you're going to make money and you're going to buy all these things.
A bit of an arrogance.
And you're 20 stupid, because the older you get, you realize you don't know anything.
No.
The older you get.
Right.
And our brains are not fully developed yet.
No, not until 25.
Correct. Our brains do not fully develop until you turn 25. And so I think that's what happens during your 20s. And then something happens when you turn 30.
I think 30.
Something happens, like this flip, the switch gets flipped.
It does, but let's talk about that, because that's when a lot of women are now in motherhood mode. And motherhood mode, it's a whole other animal. Or other women are in career mode. They have really sunken deep. So they're either raising children or they are climbing a ladder, so to speak. And so I think at that point, you're either not thinking as much about yourself or you're really thinking only about yourself. And I'm not saying either one is bad, but sometimes that's where we lack a balance. I think in our 30s, don't you? Because you get real heavy on the kid thing or you get real heavy on the career thing. Some women like you, I didn't have as much of that, in that I was able to be home a lot more with my children in my 30s. But I know that you had to balance that. And I can only imagine that it was more of a struggle, because you are a go-getter. So that had to have been like, I want to sink my teeth into my career. But you are such a wonderful mom and a loving person that had to have been hard too. That's a hard time.
It is a struggle. And I do think when you turn 30, you kind of figure out who you are and what you really want. And I have said this, to 20-year-olds, wait until you're 30 to get married. Just wait until you're 30. And they've come back to me and said, oh, you're just bitter because you're divorced. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter over my divorce.
Learned things.
Right. I have knowledge and I have some wisdom, and I think you really figure out what you want when you turn 30. And it is a struggle. You try to, you're trying to do it all and be it all, and you want it all.
Right.
And can you have it all?
No.
I think you can, but you can't just have it all
the time.
once.
I was going to say,
you can't have it all at once.
Having it all means that you are just not content with what you have in the moment. That's what I think. Like, I need to have it all. Well, what is that? What is that really? And so I think that leads into your 40s. I feel like there's a little more contentment, and you start to redefine what is having it all anyway. And you dial back a little. I think you begin to care a little bit less about how others look at you and perceive you.
Wait a minute, a little bit less? I think you just don't care. Like, you just stop caring.
You don't give a whoop.
You don't like me? That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you gain this confidence at 40 that you realize life is not a popularity contest. Some people are going to like you and some people aren't. And you know what? That's okay.
Right.
Because you're getting more confident, you're getting more into your groove, and you're like, it's okay. It's okay.
Don't you narrow your focus on the people that you choose to be around during your 40s?
Yes. Your friend group gets
just
smaller.
Shrinks. It really shrinks.
You went from...
Yeah.
And it goes,
all your friends from your kids in preschool and all your friends from all your career places to just sort of like, and we're kind of narrowing the field a little bit, being more selective.
Yeah, because you get to that realization where you have that confidence that I don't have to go to every party. I don't have to be with every person. It doesn't matter.
No, you don't have to prove yourself so much.
So then you turn 50.
Yeah.
Aha. And what happens when you turn 50?
I mean, I'm just inside 50, so let's be honest here. I have to lean on amazing women who
You're a 50 virgin.
I am. How about that?
She's a 50 virgin.
I have amazing women. I have to out you. You're just over 50, and so I have amazing women who I can learn from, and I can aspire to sort of, gosh, they figured out a lot of different things that I'm trying to figure out. I mean, you do such a great job at refocusing me sometimes. Yeah, you do.
Really?
And I really enjoy that because I see you as someone who is just really wise about things and doesn't sweat the stuff like maybe I did before. Like I know you did before, admittedly.
Of course I did.
So here I am coming into my 50s, and I feel like I'm sort of defining myself less in that I'm not so caught up in what I'm supposed to be, who I'm supposed to be, who I'm supposed to be around. I'm trying to be in the moment. I'm trying to be around the things and the people that bring me joy, and the things and the people that I understand and they understand me, if that makes sense.
Of course it does. And I think you get to this point when you turn 50 that, for me at least, I want a zero drama.
Oh, how about
zero drama.
Yes.
I want peace. And, you know, when somebody goes, blah, 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 what's my response?
Okay.
Okay.
Come back.
I mean, it just
perfect.
It just. I like to diffuse situations.
Yeah.
I've come to the realization in my 50s that you don't have to be right all the time.
No.
And just because somebody has a different viewpoint doesn't mean they're right, and it doesn't mean they're wrong. It's just their viewpoint, and they're entitled to that, and it's okay. You know, it doesn't matter. None of it really matters.
Right.
What matters is, is the people in your life, your family. When there's some big, dispute or whatever, I just always try to diffuse things. The other thing that's happening in our 50s, and we actually did a podcast on this, women are getting to this point where, the kids are leaving the house and they've been married for 25, 30 years. And they've focused on their husband, they focused on their marriage, they focused on their kids. And now they get to this point where the kids are out of the house and they're going, what about me?
Right.
What about me? I have lost myself. And the podcast that we did was at 50, that's when this gray divorce revolution starts, that a lot of women are leaving their marriage because they feel like, I've given up so much of me that I have lost me, and we are trying to reclaim me. And I mean, neither one of us are advocating divorce, so please don't misunderstand that in any way. But that's something else that's happening when women turn 50.
And I think that I can appreciate where some women get so caught up and they lose themselves. I worked really hard to not be in that space. I worked really hard to balance. I didn't have to work all of the time. That freed up time to spend more time with my husband and my kids, and to really figure out the things that I like to do and what I want to do even on my own. I love my alone time, but I love spending time with my husband. It's funny because we kind of went back into, we golfed early on. He's a great golfer. And we golfed early on when we were dating, and then got married and had our first child. And then, of course, that I couldn't golf anymore. That was just too much time. But we've kind of refound those things. And that's because I found I wanted to get back to doing those things. I wanted to go back into that space. So I'm excited for my 50s because I have really only one more child at home, and she's pretty independent. I'm excited that I'm going to go do some things with my husband and get weekend getaways we wouldn't really have before. I'm excited to see the adventures of my other grown children and what they're going to do. So for me, I am excited. I am excited about it. I am so grateful that I am fit and I am in shape and I feel good about myself. So I'm here celebrating. I am not going to be like, oh, bummer. No, card me. Would you please card me? Because I'm going to be like, yeah, that's right. Read that.
Well, put your tiara back on.
Yes.
Put your tiara back on.
I really need a bigger one.
Princess.
Yes, ma'am.
The princess.
Should be a queen.
We've gone through all of that. And so we still have not hit 60 and 70 and 80. And those are all great ages for women, and more time for women to come of age and to celebrate and embrace who we are and what we are at every age.
Love it.
So happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and we will be back next week to chirp about another topic.